everyone, welcome back to Nerdybug's Teacher Corner and welcome back to our alphabet series where I'm going to be sharing with you all of my ideas for how I teach the alphabet to my students in person or online. Today we're going to be learning about the letter D. What are the different ways that I teach the letter D to my students? So if you're interested in that, then keep on watching. Alright, idea number one as always is to teach the letter D using the Jolly Phonics method. Again, video in the description if you don't know what that is. For the letter D, the Jolly Phonics action is to play the drum. So when I introduce the letter D to my students, I always bring a drum with me. If I'm doing it in person, I let them play the drum as we say the D sound. But for my online class last year, what I did is I asked them to prepare a DIY drum and then we played it together in class as we made the D sound. Now after you're done doing that, another thing that you can do to reinforce that vocabulary of the drum is to do a drum art activity. We do have art activities for all of the alphabet and I'll link all of them down below just in case you want to check that out. Alright, the next thing that you can do is to do a little dinosaur themed portion of your lesson. Now you can read them dinosaur stories. I find that a lot of my students enjoy dinosaurs, especially the boys. They tend to really know the names of the dinosaurs. Honestly, more than I do. You can read them a dinosaur book. You can also bring dinosaur toys. If you're doing it in person, you can let them play with these. If you're doing it online, you can also do a letter dinosaur game where you show the students different dinosaurs with letters on their stomach, and then it comes with a chant that goes like this. Give me a stomp. Give me a roar. Roar. What's the letter sound on this dinosaur? And then you ask them to say the sound. I'll link my letter dinosaurs down below in case you want to use that in your class. Alright, still in the theme of dinosaurs, you can also do a dinosaur shape activity. I have a printable that was part of my learning yearbook where the students were asked to trace the shapes on each dinosaur. I'll also link that down below for you. Now, if you don't know what my learning yearbook is, let me just insert this tip here because it's super useful for online class. I ask my students to prepare a yearbook and then I send them out printables for them to insert into that yearbook. And it was a super good, super useful way for us to be able to do whiteboard marker activities and for us to be able to do Play-Doh activities. So you might want to try doing that with your students as well. Now, aside from using rubber dinosaurs, another thing that you can use are rubber ducks. And a lot of students have these at home and you can ask them to bring them to your online class. If you're doing this in person, something that I would do was to get a little basin, put all my rubber dinosaurs and rubber ducks in them, and we did a dinosaur and duck catching activity. Alright, another thing that you can do to teach the letter D is to do a little dog-themed activity. So something that you can do, for example, is to ask your students if they have dogs at home. Like I mentioned with the letter C, one thing that I really like to do with my students online is to ask them to show me parts of their life at home because this is something that we won't be able to do when we go back face to face. So you can ask your students if they have a pet dog, if they could show it to you. You can do a little show and tell me about your dog, tell me its name. Another thing that I did last year was to do a little film showing of the kids' favorite show these days, Paw Patrol. Now, I don't always let them watch these shows, especially online because my time with them is limited. But I feel like it was such a little treat for them to watch the show that I know they love, that I know they adore. I'm going to link a YouTube video of a Paw Patrol episode that has dogs, of course, and it's about saving dinosaurs. So I feel like that was the perfect episode for me to show while I was teaching the letter D. Now, if you're teaching in person, something that I did with my students was a dog stamp activity. And I said that this was sort of their paw print, that they were part of the Paw Patrol now. The way that I did this was I cut out pieces of sponges, I pasted it on a cardboard, and then we pressed some black paint on it and onto another piece of paper or cardboard, and that was sort of their Paw Patrol badge or Paw Patrol mark. And then my last letter D activity is to do a donut tasting, donut decorating, donut anything activity in your class. Again, when you're in person, something that we did in class was to do donut decorating, but if you're doing it online, you can still ask them to bring a donut to class and maybe some sprinkles, and you can still decorate it together even if you're not the one who's providing all of the materials for them. Alright, those are my ideas for how you can teach the letter D to your students. Again, don't forget to subscribe because we still have more letter videos coming in the next few weeks, next few months, and I'm sure you don't want to miss any of these good ideas that are going to be so useful to you. If you found this video helpful, you know what to do, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!